as amended. Bill?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Osama?
Aye.
Bob?
Nay.
And Diane.
I'm confused on what I'm voting on. This is the original amendment that was to
The
say.
original resolution as
Resolution is to-
amended.
As
Giving them 30
amended.
days.
As amended, 30-day amendment.
Aye.
That actually carries 5-1, that motion.
Okay.
Are we clear? 5-1?
There's my,
Okay.
did Fran get all that?
I wonder if I got it. Okay, council, we will move on to the next item. Presented for City Council's consideration is a resolution authorizing the demolition of property located at 510 Liberty Street. This property was posted for no occupancy on January 6, 2009, and has been regularly maintained by the city since that time. The residential structure has fallen into disrepair. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Moved by Osama,
Second, Your Honor.
second by Scott. Discussion? Osama?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Bob Bynum?
Aye.
And Diane.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Presented for City Council's consideration is a resolution authorizing the demolition of property at 6208 41st Street South. This property was posted for no occupancy on May 6, 2009, and has been regularly maintained by the city since that time. The residential structure has fallen into disrepair. Staff is currently working with the fire department to use this property for a training burn, which would result in a substantial savings to the city. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So move, Your Honor.
Pardon? Yes, in just one moment. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Bob Bynum?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second
Second, Your Honor.
by Diane.
Okay. Diane's got it.
People are beginning to get me confused here. Now, please state your name, your address.
Steve Odak, and I live at 1405 Hershey Avenue. This property that you're planning on taking down or burning, I have been speaking with Kenny for, well, ever since last year, at least a year. What happened here is it was a repossession. The bank repossessed it, and that was in '97. I've been out since '97. What ultimately happened is the bank put the property, they took it out of my name, put it in their name. They decided they didn't want it. They put it back in my name, which I'm willing to, do something with the property. The problem is that I've tried to talk to Kenny about this, and he told me that he would give me some time to locate the abstract, to do all the stuff I needed to do, and in my opinion, the property is not bad enough shape to be burned or demoed. And I've got pictures to show the outside of the property, if you'd like to see them.
You can pass them around if you would like.
So when did you get
We'll
your
just
name
pass
back on the title?
These are the outside of the house.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Side.
No, I haven't.
Taking over and then putting it back?
Okay.
I've never heard of that.
No, wait a minute.
I'm just asking the question.
What the bank ended up doing was what they called a quitclaim deed,
Yeah.
Okay.
and gave it back to me. I was not aware of it. I didn't find out until like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I talked to Kenny right away about it, and he informed me, well, at first I tried to explain to him what was going on, and he basically shut me down. He told me, I already know the whole situation because we went through this last year. And this time was trying to tell him, you know, look, the property was given back to me. All I want to do is be able to go down and fix it up. And he told me, he said, well, if you're going to do that, then you've got X amount of time to do it, and I'm not going to wait, and blah, blah, blah. Was very rude about it.
But this property was repoed in 97?
Correct. And it's sat empty since 97. And I had no idea that it was put back in my name or given to me. The bank ultimately gave it to me. And, you know, they're basically putting all the back taxes and fees and everything else onto me. And I was not aware of that until, as I said, a month and a half to 2 months ago.
I guess legally, I don't know how they could give it back to you
I didn't know either.
without,
I got an attorney, and the attorney said, yeah, and they have nothing signed by me saying that, you know, that I was aware of it or any of this. So, you know, the roof is bad on the house, and the roof is bad on the garage. The house, the front half of the house needs to have the drywall removed and the insulation removed and, you know, some work done to it. And that I'm willing to do. But it's gonna take some time. I can start right away. The first thing is gonna be to, you know, fix the roof.
how
But
long
I've
has
got
the
to
roof
come up
been
with,
in
you know,
disrepair?
finances. I'm sorry?
How long has the roof been in disrepair?
It was
Looks like
not,
numerous.
when I moved out, it was not leaking. So I'm going to say within the last, well, obviously within the last 4 years.
When were you notified when the bank, it became that it was yours?
When I got a letter from Kenny saying that the property was in my name and that that he wanted me to abate it. And so I went down there and, you know, figured I'd have to, you know, start taking care of the property, and I had no idea. You know, I didn't know anything about it.
Do you know that the bank actually took the title to that property?
They took it from my name and put it into Wells Fargo's name, which is the bank.
Right.
And then in June of last year, they put it into my name.
And then the bank, as you stated, put it back in your name, just arbitrarily one day put it back in your name. You didn't know it.
I had no idea.
Have you ever heard of this kind of a thing, Kenny, or anybody? Have you ever heard of this?
Well, I'm telling you honestly, I had no idea that it was done.
So
I
have you
I
paid
spoke to Kenny.
taxes?
I spoke to Kenny last year about this in, I believe it was November, and I was talking to the bank and asking them why they had done this, you know, put it back into my name. And
Do you
I
have
asked
the
him, I said,
title
does
to
this
your
mean
home?
it's my
Do you have the
property?
title to this home?
I'm sorry?
Do you have the title to this home?
I have the deed to the house, yes. I had to track it down, the abstract, I'm sorry. And so it is in my name. It is totally mine.
You have it, so you can, have you seen that deed?
I have the abstract to the property.
You got me, people. I'm not sure where we're going with this one.
Are you paying property taxes?
Yes.
I have not paid any taxes yet at all.
Mayor,
Steve.
I had a chance to talk to Steve a little bit about this earlier in the day. Maybe he could address.
Well, that's fine. Steve, if you can and will.
A major mold issue.
This property's been the source of numerous complaints by several of the council people over the last several years. It's regularly called in for nuisance abatement. Currently, there's over $8,000 or $11,000 in liens against this property on nuisance abatement costs and other activity down there. The taxes aren't being paid. Roof is falling in. We're regularly maintaining it. The taxes aren't being paid, so you're not recovering your nuisance abatement costs. I have never heard of anybody, especially somebody holding a mortgage on it, giving a deed or abstract to the person that has the loan. That usually stays with the mortgage holder until it happens. I'm not arguing in this particular case. I've never heard of it in my term. My point is, while this continues, we're continuing to mow, we're continuing to take care of it. We're getting complaints about the property, we're getting animals, we're getting odors from the house, we're getting a number of different things. Taxes aren't being paid and the liens aren't being paid. So that's why it's in front of you tonight. If you got any questions, I'll try to answer them.
I just happen to have Beacon up here with what you're talking about. Wells Fargo on June 23rd, 2009 owned the property, had a sheriff's sale. there's a quick claim deed, just like what you're talking about, June 30th, 2010. Nothing else has happened on the property since.
Exactly. What, what happened was when I found out that it was quit claim to me, I called the bank and went through all the channels to find out why this happened. And they told me that no, it was still their property, that was just, they just put it back into my name. And I told them then, I said, I want it out of my name. It's not my property.
It's not in his.
And then I find out, like I said, a month and a half to 2 months ago, I found out that they do not want the property,
Says the buyer
that
is
they're giving it to me.
Yeah, this gentleman.
And I said, well, I've never heard of it either, but, you know, in that situation, I'm more than willing to pay the taxes on it. I have no problem with that. I'm more than willing to go down and fix the house up. I have no problem with that. But Kenny wants it done within a non-reasonable time. And I told him, I said, you know, it's gonna take some time to do it. He even told me before all this happened that he would allow me time to get all this, you know, all the ducks in a row, to make sure that the bank is giving it to me, that I get the letter from the bank, excuse me, and also to, you know, get an attorney, find the abstract, all the stuff. In a month and a half, that's what I've done. And I've been down there. We also had my attorney call and asked them not to send anybody down to take care of the property, that I would take care of it. It would have been taken care of a long time ago, had I known it was mine. Nobody told me.
Mayor, I have a
Ma'am, yes.
In sounding a little hard here, sir, what happened in 1997 when you walked away from it and left it as a nuisance for the city to be maintaining for all these years?
It wasn't-
Now we're dealing with it and you're wanting it back, and you had a right to take care of it in 1997 instead of walking away from it.
In '97, my wife and I, my ex-wife now, filed for divorce and had to file for bankruptcy. That's where the bank stepped in. The bank got the property back. In 4 years that the banks had it, they never did anything with it. That's why it's in disarray. That's it. That's why it's in the shape it's in.
And it's why we have
I mean,
other
if
issues
you wanna burn it
in the
down-
community like this.
I'm sorry?
And it's why we have other issues in the community like this, because people walk away without taking responsibility.
2007.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments,
Well, I-
council?
I have a-
I just,
Just a short one, Mayor.
yes.
You said the bank had it for 4 years. It was repoed in 97,
In '97.
so they've had it longer than 4 years.
Well, since '97, it's 2011. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Since 2007, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
2007.
So it's been 4 years, I'm sorry.
does it show 2007?
No,
Okay.
Is that correct?
Okay, council, it's,
2009.
2009? 2009 is when they did they took it out of my name, or out of their name, and put it back into mine.
That's
And that's
both.
when I tried to talk to them about it and asked them, you know, is this my property? And they said no. And then I find out 4 months later that it actually is.
No.
And that's the reason I got an attorney about it.
Council willing to give him 30 days to get the title and get building permits and stuff?
He has all that.
we've gone through this many, many times here.
You have the title, don't you?
I'm sorry?
The deed, you have the title and the deed for the,
I have the abstract to the place. The title, I'm assuming the bank has. I asked them for it, and they never sent it. I also asked them
So he
for a
doesn't have
letter
the title for it.
stating that it was mine. They said that that was in the county, that they sent it to the county. So it's on record in the county that the property was given to me. That's the way I understand it.
Just from the pictures, I want to be clear that this is not simply a case of putting in new drywall. There are just from the pictures, there's a significant mold issue with that house.
Correct.
Which means that that hole in the roof has been there quite a while, because that doesn't happen overnight. And if there's that much water getting in, you probably got structural issues, definitely with the woodwork, if not with the foundation.
Good.
One other comment, Mayor.
Yes,
When I
please.
did talk to Steve earlier today, he said that he and his staff believe that the internal damage of this house, the outward appearance kind of misrepresents the real condition of this.
Oh, obviously.
You know, what I don't understand is they're saying that they're getting complaints about the house when you saw the pictures. The outside is not in that bad a shape. There's a couple spots on the eave that needs to be repaired, and I'm more than willing to go down and take care of that, take care of the whole thing. You know, I'll put a new